Hi, this is Charles from IHMG Creations. Thank you so much for purchasing this resource. I hope you find it beneficial for your distance learning as well as your traditional classroom. When you download the PDF portion of the resource and go to page 3, this is your distance learning links. The Google Slides presentation, even though it is designed for a distance learning environment, you could use it in a traditional classroom setting. We're going to come back to this page in just a minute, but if you go past page 3, the rest of the PDF is for the print versions of this resource. There is also a PowerPoint presentation that goes along with the in-class part of this, so you can use the PowerPoint as to accompany the print version. Now I'm going to focus, however, on the distance learning portion because the print version is pretty self-explanatory. So when you click this link, you're going to be asked to make a copy of the Google Slides presentation. Please do this because that gives you your very own copy of this, and then you can make edits, you can make changes, you can add content, you can reword questions without it impacting the original. So please do that, and then do what you need to do to make it work for your classroom. So this resource really just dives deep into what it is to become an entrepreneur at an elementary level. So there's basically 5 different lessons. The first lesson takes a look at what is an entrepreneur, and for each lesson, or each of the first 3 lessons, there's definitions, and then there's an activity. So the first activity is the students need to read one or both stories about. The first story features One Hen, How One Small Loan Made a Big Difference by Katie Smith Milway. And if they click right here on the picture, it's going to take them to a YouTube read aloud that I did, so they will still have access to the text even if they don't have the book. Then there's a book study, so they answer questions about the book. There is a story elements if you wanted to keep that in there. The second story is Uncle Jed's Barber Shop by Marguerite King Mitchell. And these 2 books really do a nice job of 2 different characters who are both entrepreneurs. Kojo, in the first story, takes a few coins from his mother and buys a hen and turns that hen with a lot of hard work and ingenuity into the largest chicken farm in all of Western Africa. Uncle Jed, in the book Uncle Jed's Barbershop, has a dream of starting his own barbershop in the South in the early 1900s. Both are really great children's books and also have a lot to do with entrepreneurship as well as economics and personal financial literacy. Then there's an online activity from the Kansas City Federal Reserve called Jay Starts a Business. So this is something that students can do independently. Here are some words from some entrepreneurs. And then at the end of each lesson, there's a checkpoint. So this is a chance for your students to really understand in their mind what it takes to become an entrepreneur. So qualities, characteristics, and attributes that an entrepreneur should have, they can write a good paragraph there. In the second section, we take a look at human capital. So once again, here's a definition. It's investing in yourself to increase your skill set through education and or experience. So the whole idea of this lesson is to get students to think about, do you need to go to a traditional 4-year college to be successful as an adult? So that's kind of the driving question of this lesson. So they do a quick right here, and then they look at some jobs, and the goal of this activity is to see if there is a correlation between the amount of education and experience and your salary or your earning potential. So there are 30 different jobs here. And if they click on these jobs, it'll take them to a link that they can look at the uh, average earnings. They can look at the education it takes. They can look at the job outlook. So this is a really cool little resource for them to take a look at what it's going to be like after regular school. Then there is a visual here about the human capital ladder, that the more education you get, how your average yearly income goes up. So this is just another visual image that education experience does pay off. Then they do a interest inventory. So for each of these statements, they either need to click that they agree but do not enjoy it, or they agree and do enjoy it. So they can put an X or a check in those. And this is to get them to understand what they're good at and what they like. There's a couple questions over here that they can answer, help them answer. And then this last question, what are a couple jobs that they could do based on the human capital that they already possess? And then once again, the checkpoint is, after learning about human capital, do they still feel the same about attending a four-year college? Then the third lesson is taking a look at how entrepreneurs form their idea for starting their business. So this is broken up into a lesson on, or a little mini lesson on, goods and services. So there's an explanation about that. And then they have to make a list of the goods and services that they are familiar with. And then we look at inventions versus innovations. There's another mini lesson over here. Then there's a video here that I included, and really the best part of the video is this section right here. And so if you can direct your students to there, that really focuses on the compare and contrast between an invention and innovation. And then there's these crazy little things that I found that you can have a discussion with your students about what is an invention and what is an innovation. And then for the checkpoint for this lesson, they think about a smartphone and think about all the different functions that is included in this one device. So things like camera, calculator, phone, video camera. There's just so many different things that is included in one device. So it's a really good example of an innovation. And then here are some examples from children who are entrepreneurs. So this will take you to those websites so they can check out their stories. The fourth lesson is when students get to create their own small business plans. And this is a really cool activity in which they get to start or do their business plan for their own small business. So there's 5 different parts that you can look through here: business basics, financial funding, marketing, the impact that they're going to have on their community through the taxes that the government will collect, and then sharing a portion of their earnings. And then finally, they create a small business presentation. Now, I gave them I made a list of some different types of presentations, but you can definitely do something that you feel would be appropriate. So some of these would include being online, and some of these are offline. So trying to give it a good balance between being on the computer and then having some options off the computer. There's answer keys for the book studies. And then I also included a teacher sample down here. So it would be cool if you created your own small business plan. I think the kids would really like to see what ideas you have for starting a small business. If you have any questions or comments about this resource, please email me at ihmgcreations@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And there's also a way for you to isolate slides if you wanted to break this up into chunks. If you would like for me to demonstrate how to do that, please email me, please contact me, and I can walk you through that process. Thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoy this resource.